What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Face Off Sports Network. I'm your host, Anthony Servino. Follow me on X at The Real NFL Guru. Follow the show at the FF Face Off and at fffaceoff.com. We can be found on all the top social media podcast platforms. It is a football Thursday. Steve D'Angelo at Fantasy Savvy back with me. Jets tonight. Your Jets, my quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, New England Patriots, home opener. The last time we see Aaron Rodgers in that stadium, he was carrying a flag out, and about 5 minutes later, they were carrying him out. But last week, Aaron Rodgers starting to look like Aaron Rodgers, and I think this could be a big-time coming out party. Really excited for it, Steve. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Fired up for the Jets tonight. Did go back. I was at that birthday party, so I missed it. So I had to go back and watch the whole game. That birthday party really set me back, man. But anyway, I went back and watched the whole game. Rodgers, man, some of those throws were beautiful to Mike Williams, to Garrett Wilson, that throw to Brees. The one thing you notice about Rodgers is he doesn't move as well as he used to. So those throws on the run, maybe that kind of gets a little bit better as the season goes on, but he definitely threw some in the dirt and here and there. Tough matchup too against a tough New England defense, but they should take care of business tonight. Against Jacoby Brissett. I expect them to win, maybe by 7 to 10 points. I actually like them to cover the spread tonight. Probably a low scoring game as well, but yeah, fired up. It's good to see, Rodgers hopefully get some redemption tonight after last year's shit show.
A couple of, you're in Florida, so you have one sports book. Obviously, New Jersey, we have a lot, depending on what state you are in. And one of my favorite books is Bet365, and Garrett Wilson's anytime touchdown scorer. And I like Garrett Wilson. He has not scored a touchdown against New England yet in his career. They boosted that, and that scares me the hell off that boost.
Yeah. Christian Gonzalez is definitely a good corner. He did a pretty good job on DK Metcalf last week. Metcalf had that blown coverage touchdown, but outside of that, didn't really do too much. So yeah, I think this is a tough matchup. Again, he's like the only guy to really focus on. You got Lazard, you got Mike Williams, but you put all your focus on Garrett Wilson, you take him away. So yeah, I'm not crazy about Garrett Wilson today. I'm kind of looking at like another 5-6 for 60, 70 type game, something like that. He definitely could get in the end zone. He definitely could break one. I mean, he's that talented. But yeah, whenever you see those boosts, it's always trying to lure you into something.
Yeah, another one on DraftKings, like the Power Hour, whatever it is. It's for Ram Stevenson and Brees to each have 25 yards in the first quarter. And yeah, these boosts are like scary sometimes. Yeah, I like it too, but there's always a catch with these boosts. Like it seems like Vegas knows something. It always seems like they know something.
Yeah.
Just looking at before we get into some questions, since there is a game, might as well just talk about it for a few minutes. Looking at like the head-to-head matchups, like historic performances, I don't even see a touchdown. Like Antonio Gibson scored a touchdown when he was with Washington last season. Hunter Henry, the last time he scored against the Jets was 2021. Brees Hall actually went ballistic last January, over 178 total yards with a touchdown. And Tyler Conklin looks like he scored against the Patriots October 30th, 2022, scored a pair and nothing since. So, like, I have nothing to dig into for my anytime touchdown score bets. It's all going to be ad-libbed.
Yeah. Low total, too, 38.5. Probably not going to see a lot of fireworks. I like the running back, Stevenson, Hall, maybe Braylon Allen. I think they're going to keep him in the mix. Again, you got Lazard, Mike Williams, and Conklin. It's not like there's not that much talent out there. I mean, I like Mike Williams, but again, he's coming back from an ACL injury. So it's going to take him a little while to get geared up. I think they're going to use Allen a little bit more tonight, and he possibly could get into the end zone once again. Had a nice run. Also caught that screen pass to get into the end zone too. He's got burst. He's a big dude, but he's got bursts. So, I think they're going to keep him a little bit involved in the offense again tonight.
We have we do a lot of clips from these live shows, and we had a clip on Braylon Allen over, I think it's pushing 2,000 views right now in like a day or two. And I'm on the other side, and maybe I'm biased. Maybe it's because I have too much Brees Hall in high stakes leagues. But I don't think Braylon Allen is anything more than a handcuff. Like on the show with Jim Coventry at RotoWire that I do, and I didn't realize this. Jim's like, yeah, like they kept panning to Breece Hall during the game. He was on an exercise bike, and I think he popped up in the injury report on Tuesday. So yeah, I don't know. Like I wouldn't like if you picked up Braylon Allen, like he certainly should be rostered.
Yeah,
Because,
100%.
like he's like a Jordan Mason type of handcuff.
Right.
But
especially if you're a Breece owner.
I'm not starting him today.
I spent $500 to get Braylon Allen because I'm a Breece Hall owner in that league, and the secondary the bid behind me was like $475, so I had to bid that much. But I do think, I mean, after last week, again, there's not a lot of talent here, and he did look good, and they want to keep Breece fresh this year.
Yeah.
So I do think they're going to utilize, not as much as last week, but he's a pretty solid player. Yeah. So I think they'll keep him going a little bit.
All right, well, Steve, you want to man the questions?
Sure. We got Let's Plant Some Trees saying, yo, what's good, y'all? What's up, man? Let's Plant Some Trees says Demarcus Robinson, Michael Pittman, Najee Harris, Carson Steele, Deontay Johnson, Quentin Johnson need 3 for this week in PPR. So I would say Demarcus Robinson's definitely got to be one of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is, and I hate to put it this way, like this is a lot of underwhelming options. Pittman looks like the pits right now. Najee, I was all in on him, and the context was there. He is getting the workload, even though Warren is closing in a little bit when it comes to snap share last week. But unless he scores, not returning value. But they were tough matchups. Steele, I don't know what this backfield is going to look like. Deontay Johnson has a little bit more appeal with Andy Dalton. Quentin Johnston, he did score twice, only a handful of targets. I think he only had 5 or 6 targets. And then DeMarcus. So I think I'm with you here when it comes to starting DeMarcus Robinson, and I think I'd lean Najee. Yeah, I'm sorry. I might go DeMarcus and Deontay actually.
Yeah, he does need 3. So okay. Yeah, he needs 3. So in his PPR, DeMarcus will definitely be one. Yeah, I don't know about Pittman, and that is not a good matchup either. This week for the Colts. Deontay, again, I want to see what Dalton can do. Obviously, I think it'll be a benefit. Deontay certainly could have a good game, but he might pepper Adam Thielen. That's possible too. I just want to see how it looks first, So Steele, again, he might be the guy, but it could be Pirine. It could be Hunt. Andy Reid said he's going to get some carries. They called up Keontae Ingram. He may get some work. Who the hell knows? So let's wait and see. So I'm going to say Robinson, Najee, and Quentin Johnson. Josh Palmer looks like he's going to be out this week. He's banged up, so it's basically him and Ladd.
Wow.
So, and Herbert's got a little bit of an ankle injury too, but I liked how they used Quentin Johnson last week. He caught a bomb for a touchdown. They were throwing him screens. They used him on a run. He caught some drag routes. So it seems like they're using him the right way. His confidence is going to grow. Herbert's connection with him is going to grow. So I kind of like Quentin Johnson this week.
Looks like we have a super chat. And yeah. Oh, so I'm sorry. No, this isn't a question. This is our co-host, Mike Hoff, letting everybody know that if you send in a super chat, that you can cut the line and get your answers or get your questions answered faster, because we are going to get backed up. And, we have a game tonight. We're not going to be on here 2 hours. So if you want to jump the line and make sure, guarantee your questions answered with context, super chat is the way to go. But let's scroll back up.
Yeah, 100%. Send those super chats in. We'll bump you a little bit. Make sure you subscribe to the show as well. Zach Linton says, "What's up?" And then go ahead. You go.
Yeah, no, go to Red and Black.
Okay, Red and Black says, "Hey fellas, Kyler or Hurts this week? Need a RB2 and a flex out of Stevenson, J.K. Dobbins, Montgomery, Garrett Wilson." Playing Rashi and Chase at wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, full PPR. So I guess we could start with the quarterbacks first. Kyler or Jalen Hurts? Kyler looked amazing last week. That might have been one of his best games. I didn't get to go back and watch that whole game, but some of the throws he was making, he looked like he was just completely dialed in
Yeah.
last week.
This is tough. You have two of the top fantasy quarterbacks, and this is sometimes suboptimal because if you just have one, you're going to put him in your lineup no matter what. If you have both, you have to make a very difficult decision, and the wrong decision might cost you as little as 3 fantasy points, and that could ultimately cost you a game. We know how fantasy football is. So you have Hurts, you have Kyler Murray. When it comes to the matchup, Jalen Hurts gets the Saints, and as prolific as the Saints offense has been, Dallas was able to move the football on them. And then you have Kyler against Detroit. And the odd thing is Detroit's offense has been letting them down. Their defense has been holding up a little bit better, but this is Detroit on the road. They're in Arizona where Kyler and Marvin, they went absolutely ballistic. I think this offense is for real when it comes to Philly. In New Orleans, it's not going to be an easy place to play. Is it crazy, Steve, for me to say Kyler Murray?
No, not at all. And look at the total. I mean, you got a 51.5 total in that Lions-Cardinals game. So that definitely could be more fireworks there. And I think, McBride's going to still be a problem. Harrison looked great last week. And Murray was running. I mean, I think you stick with the hot quarterback here. Hurts, ran a lot more last week, which was great to see. Kind of looked like the old Jalen Hurts we were used to when he was smashing, but still kind of missed some throws. Still no more. Doesn't look like A.J. Brown is going to be back this week. The Saints defense is good. Sounds like Marshawn Lattimore could be out this week, but still the Saints defense is playing great. Their offense is playing great. That is a high total too of 49.5. But I'm going to go with Kyler here. I like it a little bit more.
I'm going to go Kyler too. When it comes to Vegas odds prop lines, Kyler Murray edges Jalen Hurts out across the board outside of rushing yards, and there's only a 9-yard differential. So even Vegas seems to be telling us we think Kyler is going to have a little bit of a better game. So let the second part of this question, he's an RB2 and a flex out of Ramondre tonight. Our guy, J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery, Garrett Wilson going tonight. He already has Rashee Rice and Chase. Chase is an absolute smash spot, so you're not taking him out. I don't know.
That's tough, man. You got 3 really good running backs there. And then you got Garrett Wilson. JK's, I love JK. The matchup isn't great.
Yeah.
Monty, I kind of like a little bit better here, but he's got to split with Gibbs. Stevenson is the guy. I mean, Antonio Gibson actually last week thought he really ran hard, and like that, you don't normally see that from Antonio Gibson. I think he's taking a little bit of a, notes from Ramondre and the way he runs. Ramondre running hard too. So, I don't know, man. This is a tough one for me. What do you think?
So you need 2. One of them,
he's an RB and a flex. Yeah.
One of them for me is going to be Ramondre Stevenson. He is one of my stardom running backs on the week. He's also a player. I think if you need an upside running back, he's somebody you trade for now because his schedule's kind of favorable the next 3 games. He's given us 21.6 and 17 PPR points. He is, 98 snaps to 29, dominating the workload, dominating the opportunity share, the snap share, at least 21 carries in both games. At least 3 targets in both games, getting 5 last week. He was run at least 20 routes in each of the first 2 games. Last week, he was targeted on 25% of his routes run. 9 total red zone opportunities, including 3 inside the 5 in the past 2 games. He's scoring 2 touchdowns. So and this Jets defense, it's not playing up to par. And I think we're going to see a lot of Ram. Like this could be another Ramondre Stevenson 20+ touch game. So I'm going to go Ramondre as one of mine.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind that. And then I think the other decision for me is Dobbins or Garrett Wilson. I'm going to go Dobbins over Montgomery.
So you're fading Garrett.
No, I'm saying the other one, the flex, is either going to be Dobbins or Garrett Wilson.
Oh, so you're not going Ram tonight.
I'm gonna go Ram with 1 for the RB2, but then he needs a flex, so it's either gonna be Garrett Wilson or Dobbins. I'm gonna scratch Montgomery out of those 2, so it's between those 2 guys for me. Garrett Wilson, again, I don't think it's a lot of upside. Again, tough matchup for Dobbins as well, but it's a good game script. We see the Steelers are not scoring a lot of points. They're kicking a ton of field goals. They're not really an explosive offense. It's George Pickens and nobody really else. So Dobbins is probably going to get a ton of usage again. They'll probably be around the goal line a couple times. Joe Alt is a freaking looking like a stud pick to run behind. So yeah, I'm going to give Dobbins a slight edge there over Wilson. With the matchup with Christian Gonzalez.
So I'm going to listen. I think I'm going to lean Garrett Wilson. And they bottled up Chase, but we know week one, since he didn't look right, Chase, barely practiced at all and was like up in the air to even play. The receivers for Seattle last week, DK Metcalf, 14 targets, 10 receptions, $129 and a touchdown. JSN, 12 of 16 for $117. Like, I think this secondary in Christian Gonzalez, especially, is a little bit more vulnerable against the top-end receivers. Like even Jamar Chase in week one, 6 of 6 for 62. That's 12.2 points in the FFPC, which is PPR. So I'm going to ride the floor of Garrett Wilson because, we might like Christian Gonzalez. L'Jarius Sneed is another next-level corner. He did limit the target share going towards Garrett last week, but I think this is the game where we see Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers come together. I'm going Garrett. Okay. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I love these guys too much.
Yeah,
but I'm going Garrett.
All right, we got another question. A super chat. Appreciate that from Tood. I thought it was Todd. Remember that movie when John Lovitz was like that space king and the parents went to like space and John Lovitz was like the head of the freaking aliens out there? And his name was Todd. They were calling him Lord Todd. It was kind of
Spaceballs?
No, not space. I forget what the name of them. Mom and Dad go to space or something.
I like John Lovitz. He was in The Simpsons. Like he was everywhere. But him in the Benchwarmers.
Well, I tried to watch that movie. Pete said it was like he had it ranked over Field of Dreams. I watched like the first 40 minutes, and I was like, this. And I normally like those guys like space, but it just seemed like a stupid ass movie. But I gotta watch the whole thing.
It is a stupid movie.
I gotta watch the whole thing.
And it's one of my favorites, but you don't put it over Field of Dreams.
No way. Tood says, "Do I drop Gus Edwards for my team?" I don't really know. I mean, what other running backs are out there? What other running backs do you have on your team? Certainly, J.K. Dobbins has taken the step up over Gus Edwards, and I expect him to maintain that role. Going forward, he's looked just so much better. But if you need RB depth, I would try to keep him. But if there's other guys out there, you need a receiver, you need a tight end, maybe you need a quarterback. I don't mind dropping him. It really depends on what's out there and who's on your team.
Yeah, I can't sign off on dropping Gus Edwards. Number one, like J.K. Dobbins, what he's doing because he's an efficient running back. And if you remember a couple of years ago, before all these injuries, even before the first or second injury, we were still drafting Gus or J.K. Dobbins in like the third round because what we're seeing is what we should have been getting barring injury. I don't like, and I think this is the reality. J.K. Dobbins, 63 snaps, Gus Edwards, 53. They each played 31 snaps last week. They're getting similar carries. The difference between the two is the efficiency from J.K. Dobbins, where Gus Edwards, he's always, even though he's, most of his career over 5-6 yards a carry in Baltimore and Lamar and the RPO threat, this is Gus Edwards. And Gus Edwards is very touchdown dependent. And we also have to factor in the fact that if Dobbins goes down, I get people like Vidal, they have Hassan Haskins, Gus Edwards is probably going to be the primary ball carrier. So no, like Gus Edwards is going to get work. He's going to give you touchdowns here and there in the right matchup, but he's also the primary handcuff, knock on wood, if J.K. Dobbins goes down. Last week, folks, Gus Edwards had 18 carries for 59 yards. The reason why he's not really doing much is because J.K. Dobbins had 17 for $131 and 1. They're both getting literally similar workload similar snaps. One's just doing more, but I think you absolutely have to roster Gus Edwards. You can't drop him. He is getting too much work.
Yeah. Again, it depends on what your team looks like for me.
Yeah.
Like if there's a stud receiver out there, maybe like you don't have good receivers, Demarcus Robinson is out there, maybe you could do something like that just to try to win now because Gus is, that could change. But Dobbins could start getting even more touches now going forward too over Gus because he's so much more productive too. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But generally, I would agree because if Gus does step into that role and gets even more usage, it will look pretty nice. All right. Next question from Red and Black. He says, hey, fellas, Kyler or Hurts this week? Oh, sorry, we answered that. Right. I meant to bring up Jared. Hey, guys, would you deal Kyron and Kincaid for Kelsey and ETN PPR redraft? Kyron and Kincaid for Kelsey and ETN.
Kyron and Kincaid. See, here's the thing. The running backs are a wash to me. Right? They're essentially a wash. They're drafted usually right on top of each other. And my issue here is both of these tight ends have been disappointments. They have not been productive. But is there a world where now without Isaiah Pacheco, is this team going to once again become Travis Kelce reliant? And this is what I said on a show or I think on our Monday show, 2 different positions. Isaiah Pacheco is a chain mover. Travis Kelce is also a chain mover, and they need somebody to move those chains. And I don't think, an off-the-street Kareem Hunt, Samaje Perine, and Carson Steele, I don't know if that combination is good enough to move the chains. Like, Isaiah Pacheco was a legitimate running back in this league, 3-down back, and somebody else on this team has to step up. So, I think I might just stand pat with your guys. I don't know.
Well, he's got Kyron and Kincaid, so he would deal for Kelsey and ETN. So he would go get Kelsey. So you want him to get Kelsey.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? A lot of these trades are so even. It's so hard to say. It could work. It's like they're, sometimes. But it's not a trade I think you really need to make. I could see it working out either way, but I agree with your point. If Kelsey is going to get more usage now with Pacheco out, and Kelsey certainly is the more proven tight end. And ETN's still going to be damn solid. Kyron, with all those offensive line injuries for the Rams now, no Kupp, no Nakua, and Kyron might just get overused, and he could end up getting hurt too. So, I don't hate it. And the Bills are going to spread the ball around. So, I don't hate it if you want to make that deal.
Tony Tegler with a super chat.
Beautiful.
He wants to know if we should trade Tyreek Hill and Jonathan Taylor for CeeDee Lamb. Current running back Saquon Barkley, Rico Dowdle, and Allen, and then receivers are Devonta Smith, Harrison, Higgins, who is expected to return this week, and Tank Dell.
No.
Which Allen?
Probably Braylon.
Braylon, okay. Jesus,
I'm not making that deal. You have your running back depth isn't great behind Saquon. You got 2 back, Dowdle. It's a mix of running backs. They're using Deuce Vaughn in the backfield there. Who the hell knows what's going to happen there? And then your receivers are pretty strong. So I don't think you need to go out and get CD. CD's got a little bit of an ankle injury. We don't know what that is yet. Probably something minor, but you're going to trade Tyreek. Again, it's not the end of the world. Like, Tyreek's so talented. He could succeed even with Skylar Thompson of the world. Maybe you get Tyler Huntley in there next week, and that helps the offense a little bit. And you can't trade JT. I just think you're giving up too much, and you're hurting your running back depth there.
Yeah, I want to move Tyreek Hill, right? Like, I'm on the side of you need to move him because I don't trust it. And again, Tyreek Hill in the past has gone off with just about every quarterback he's played with. He's also a little bit older now. And Skylar Thompson, I know one of the quarterbacks he's gone for 190 with, for example, Matt Moore in Kansas City. But I would say Matt Moore is a vast upgrade at the time over Skylar Thompson. Tua, I think he's going to be out until the bye, and he's on IR. Is he going to be out longer? I just kind of want to wash my hands of this situation altogether. But here's the but. The but is you're downgrading, as Steve said, at the running back position. Yes, you're going to get, CeeDee Lamb, and then you're going to be throwing out there what at running back? Saquon and Dowdle?
Yeah. And Braylon Allen.
Saquon and Braylon Allen. Like
Yeah,
I
you're hurting your
can't
team.
sign off on this.
Yeah, you're hurting your team.
Now, what you can do here's another option with T. Higgins coming in this week. He's getting Washington. This could be a complete bombardment from like Joe Burrow to his wide receivers. If what I would do is maybe you move. I don't know, like, can you move like a combination of like Tyreek Hill and T. Higgins and get another receiver back, or Tyreek Hill and T. Higgins and get a receiver and a running back? Because I certainly think you have a very good team. I think you need depth.
Yeah, try to work some other deals. You can shoot us. You can hit us up on Twitter, Fantasy Savvy, the Real NFL Guru. Comment here. We'll try to answer that for you.
Yeah, but you're like your sell high receivers would be like Higgins off a pop game, Tank Dell off a pop game, because that volatility in that offense is real. That's Nico Collins' offense and everybody else. So you have two nice depth pieces at receiver. I would try to flip one of them and get a running back. Or like if Tyreek Hill does go off, sell him. Let people think you're gonna get the old Tyreek Hill every week. Sell him. Because you're not. I don't know. You're not.
I mean, he's not gonna be as good with Tua, but I still think he'll be pretty dynamic. So I wouldn't worry too much. But yeah, I mean, I agree. If you can make the right deal, I don't mind moving off him. He also says he was able to get Terry McLaurin and Bucky Irving for Tyreek. I would not do that.
No.
I mean, I like Terry McLaurin. I think Terry McLaurin is gonna start stepping it up pretty soon. But Bucky Irving's still kind of like, mixing with Rachaad White. He hasn't looked that great. It's more so their passing game. And, Tyreek, I just think you got to try to get a little bit more at this point.
I think if somebody's offering that deal, they're trying to bamboozle you.
Yeah.
That's a deal you make for T. Higgins. That's a T. Higgins deal. That's a Tank Dell deal right now. That's not a Tyreek Hill deal.
Yeah. Be patient with Tank Dell, though, too. He should come around as well. All right, let's scroll back up to the top.
Pete is saying that George Kittle with a hamstring injury. So
yeah, the Niners are a hot mess right now. It's all falling apart. So it's Jawan Jennings week this week. It seems like who else the hell are they going to throw? It's Ayuk going to get peppered, and Jawan Jennings, a lot of Mason. And then maybe a little Cowing and Chris Conley or Kyle Juszczyk. We'll have to see how that all shakes out there with the Niners. Let me pull this guy up. Pristine says start 1, sit 2. Waddle, Amari Cooper, and Jaden Reed. So he needs one guy out of those three.
So Waddle, Amari Cooper, Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed's on the injury report too, so I don't know what his status is. Amari Cooper, he dropped a touchdown. He dropped a couple more passes last week. Watson actually did play pretty well. I thought he looked better last week. I thought he outplayed Trevor Lawrence actually in that game. So things are kind of, getting a little bit better there.
Yeah.
And Waddle's got to deal with Skylar Thompson and freaking Tyreek in front of him. So with Reed on the injury report, and we don't know about Jordan Love. I think LaFleur is just trying to, they're saying it's gonna be 30 minutes, 60 minutes before game time. I think he's just trying to play, confuse the opponent a little bit. I think we're gonna see one more week of Malik Willis. So, and Jaden Reed definitely stands the most to benefit, but we did see Dobbs have a nice game. Dontavian Wicks scored a ton of Josh Jacobs in that game. So I'm gonna go with Cooper here this week.
And Malik Willis, if he starts, it's gonna be a revenge game against a team that couldn't wait to get rid of him. I think I'm also gonna go Amari Cooper because I was on the Deshaun Watson bounce back bandwagon, and he's starting, and I get people don't like him as a person. Not many people should, but on the football field, there is enough talent around Deshaun Watson to play well, and Amari Cooper is one of the better veteran receivers in the NFL. They're only going to keep him down for so long. So out of these guys, now obviously if Jordan Love plays, I think I might pivot to Reed, but that's so much risk. Where as of right now, I'm going to go with Steve, and I'm going to go Amari Cooper, by the way, he's getting a New York Football Giants. So
great
let's
matchup.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's
you
go,
do
Cooper.
you do get you get Banks. He's done a pretty good job so far. So it's not a great matchup, but I still think he could win that. Out of those three options, again, they're not all great. I'll go with Cooper. All right, Antonio Lopez says, would you do Jamar Chase, Kyron Waddle for Nico, CD, Zach Moss, and Jalen Warren, PPR?
Chase, Kyron, Waddle for Nico,
Yes.
Lamb. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Smash.
And again, like this is gonna be the Jamar Chase coming out party this week. You can't get rid of Waddle fast enough to me because of this quarterback situation. I'm more worried about it than Steve is, but you can legitimately off him. You're going to off Kyron, and I like Kyron, but this is another guy in a bad situation around him. You're getting back Nico, back-to-back 100-yard games. And last year, I get he broke out. This might be his breakout year in year two, and Stroud in this offense, CeeDee Lamb, Zach Moss, who's dominating touches, and Jalen Warren didn't do much in week one, but last week, I think he only had 3 or 5 fewer snaps than Najee Harris. So,
getting healthier. He's getting healthier.
You absolutely do that deal.
Yeah, you're getting good depth. You get the 2 running backs to offset Kyron, and then you get 2 smash receivers. Obviously Collins and Chase could be a wash, but CD over Waddle big time there. So it's kind of it's somewhat even, but yeah, I love that deal for you.
Yeah.
All right, Michael O'Day says JJ Wilson, Devontae Smith, Ayuk. Start 3 receivers, start 2 quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, Stroud, Geno, and Geno Smith. So he needs 2 quarterbacks and he needs 3 receivers. JJ, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Ayuk, he needs 3. So we'll start with that.
So JJ is Justin Jefferson.
Right.
Because JJ Wilson sounds like a wide receiver from a movie. JJ Wilson, Devontae, Ayuk, only 3?
Yeah.
Who does Philly get again this week?
Philly has the Saints with no A.J. Brown and possibly no Lattimore.
But they did a good job on CD last week.
No, their defense is playing great for sure.
I think we got to ride JJ. I get he was day to day, but I was wrong on Justin Jefferson, folks. Son of a bitch is quarterback proof. Or I was right on Sam. I was right on Sam Darnold.
Dude, Darnold is playing good football, and you know me, man. I was a Jets fan. I hated Darnold, and I kind of wrote him off. But through 2 games, he's looked excellent. That bomb, that 97-yard throw was a dime. There was a couple other beautiful throws. He's making some bonehead plays here and there, but he's looking comfortable in the system. He's getting protection. Yeah, I think JJ's absolutely got to be one of them. Ayuk with freaking Kittle possibly out now. That's 2. And it's between Devontae Smith and Garrett Wilson. That's a very, very close one for me.
And I gush about Garrett Wilson. I might sit Wilson in favor of the others. Just Devonta, the way he stepped up and the way, he emerged as a number 1 receiving option against a tough Saints defense. He played out of his mind. It's actually closer between Ayuk and Garrett, but 2 bad games out of Ayuk. Everybody is falling by the wayside for San Francisco. Brandon Ayuk jumped up and down in the middle of a toy store. I want my money. I want my money. Now, what I was saying, my worries about Brandon Ayuk, if he went to another team and he didn't have all the talent around him, is he truly an alpha when he's getting double covered and he's getting the top end corner? Now we're going to see who the hell Brandon Ayuk is, and we're going to see who Brock Purdy is. But I'm going to roll the dice. This is a great matchup against the Rams. So I'm going to sit my guy, Garrett Wilson, but this is an embarrassment of riches at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, then he needs 2 quarterbacks out of Stroud, Brock, and Geno Smith. I'm going to go with Brock as 1 against the Rams, even without Kittle. I still think it's a good matchup. And then Stroud, tough matchup against Brian Flores-led Vikings team, but it is CJ Stroud with those 3 weapons. And then Geno Smith gets the Dolphins in a low total 41. I mean, this could be a game where, maybe they're just running the ball a lot in the second half. You never know. Could be maybe some Kenny McIntosh a little bit in this game. So I'm going to go with Brock and Stroud here. Oh, and Sid Geno.
Yeah, I think Brock's a must. Coming up a 300-yard passing performance, they're gonna, and it's not like without CMC, like the running game's defunct. Jordan Mason is playing outstanding, so there is going to be that play action pass. It's not all going to be on Brock Purdy, and I think that's going to be really good for him. So I think we go Brock, and I'm going to say Stroud.
Yeah,
but I do want to bring this up about CJ Stroud, and this was my worry with CJ Stroud. On why I had him ranked so low at the quarterback position. 21 fantasy points against Indy, 16.9 against Chicago. I get he has all of these weapons. What I warn people about
is
Chicago's
a tough matchup, though. So that's not bad.
But Joe Mixon, folks, and Steve, Joe Mixon.
Hurt, though.
Right, but the workload that these running backs are getting, they want to run the football. They're running the football well. I don't think, I keep saying this, I feel like CJ Stroud, when it's all said and done, he's going to be a great NFL quarterback, but he might be when it comes to fantasy, I don't know, like a Kirk Cousins, where he's a top 12 quarterback, but he's never going to crack that top 5.
He doesn't run a lot, so he
doesn't run, and he doesn't throw a lot of touchdown passes.
Yeah, but he could throw 30 this year. Easy. And he did throw for 4,200 last year or something like that.
Yeah. But
with Mixon with a high ankle now, I mean, you're going to rely on Cam Akers and Dare Abugunwale and Damian Pierce. So,
I like Dare Abugunwale, by the way. I just like saying his name. That's a cool name.
I like him. I think
Dare Abugunwale.
I could never pronounce that right. I always kind of liked him too. Cam Akers has looked pretty good, but he did fumble near the end zone last week, so that might hurt him a little bit. But he should be the guy this week if Mixon is out. All right, let's keep it moving here. Jose Avalos says, at tight end, should I start your boy, Mike Gesicki? He's questionable right now. Just did pop up on the injury report recently.
We have a super. So let's go. So I'm trying to find Jose, and then we'll get to that super chat.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay, so
Mike Gesicki, or should I start Cole Kmet? And at wide receiver, should I start J-Mo or Shakir? So, I mean, if Gesicki's going to play, you're going to go with Gesicki over Cole Kmet. The Bears defense hasn't looked good. Gerald Everett's getting snaps. Caleb's still got to show a little bit more here. I thought he looked a little bit more comfortable last week, but definitely Gesicki, especially after last week. And then J-Mo or Shakir. And, I love Shakir, but how do you sit J-Mo here in a 51 total against the Cardinals?
So I'm going to start with the tight end position. Cole Kmet, last week, he doubled Gerald Everett in snaps. Where week 1, Gerald Everett had 8 more snaps than Kmet. Last week against Houston, 50-25. Cole Kmet also had 5 targets last week. And I do think if there's a game where this offense can get going, it's this one. And then you got the Rams and Carolina coming up. So this could be a nice 3-week stretch for Chicago. I still go Mike Gesicki. Now, on paper, not a great matchup. Washington, number 1 against fantasy tight ends. The Giants, I don't think they targeted their tight ends last week. No. And K-Dot, and that game was so far over. Right. So you can abuse this secondary receivers, but still, Joe Burrow has ultra leaned on his tight ends, and he's done it through the years too. Even when everybody's healthy, they just never had the big time pass catching tight end like Gesicki. So I'm going to still go Gesicki here, but don't be surprised if we get another game. If we come out of Sunday and Cole Kmet is dominating snap share again, then all the Gerald Everett talk is moot.
Yeah, you wonder maybe if that was because they were getting so much pressure. Maybe they kept Kmet a little bit more. I don't know. I didn't look at the routes run, but Latu is questionable. DeForest Buckner's already out.
Kmet 24 routes, by the way, last week.
Okay, so not terrible. Yeah, Gesicki, I agree. Again, like look at CJ Uzama a couple years ago. He was a smash. So Gesicki might be a thing. I'm not a smash, but he was pretty decent with Burrow. So Gesicki should be a thing all year. Then you got to go Jame over Shakir there.
Yeah, and we're both, we like both these guys, but the target share, I believe JMO 25-ish targets through 2 games. And they get Arizona, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Arizona in Arizona. And this defense might have played well last week. Their secondary is their weak point. So I think this could be another smash spot for Jameson Williams.
Yeah, I agree.
Super chat time for
Yeah,
we need music. We need super chat music. Maybe the
we
porno
do.
music. But
I'll see if I can bring something up.
Who to start between Evan Ingram if he's out, Ertz or Brenton?
Brenton Strange. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Brenton Strange. Lawrence was targeting him last week, and I was mentioning him to you. Yeah. I thought he looked pretty good. They were targeting him deep. And I think he was a 3rd-round pick, 2 years ago. So I think he's a pretty talented player. Ertz is 97 years old. Yeah. Maybe it's a better week this week, but we really don't know. There's a lot of, Austin Eckler, a lot of Brian Robinson. We'll see if McLaurin gets a little bit more into the mix. Jaden Daniels is taking off a ton. So I'm going to go with Brent Stranger. Yeah, it doesn't look like Ingram's going to make it back this week.
Well, he could. He has 2 more days to log a practice. You need to log one by Saturday. So it can still happen. And the matchup against Buffalo for enemy tight end is actually really favorable. But I don't know. Let me see if Brenton Strange what he even did last week.
He was good. I watched the game. He 5 for 60.
3 to 6 for 65. So he was targeted 6 times. Broke off 62 yards, ran 22 routes, 38 snaps. Luke Farrell 25. And what was the other option? Let me go back.
Zach Ertz.
Ertz was kind of busy, but Washington, I don't know if I love this matchup this week. Washington gets Cincy. Wow. What did you say? You went Ertz?
No, I went Brenton Strange. Go with the Strange.
Ertz actually led Washington receivers 4 targets for 62 yards. So I guess he had the big yards. Cincy middle of the pack against tight ends. Man, this is close. I might lean Brenton Strange.
Okay.
I think they both have similar floors, and that's what we're looking for when we're looking at these, cellar dweller tight ends.
Yeah, we got another super chat from Daniel Cardenas. Trading Rashad White, or is that Roddy? No, Roddy White. Rashad White.
Roddy White.
Hell yeah, he was damn good. And Devontae Adams for JJ. What do you think?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to your running back depth, but it sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, and especially if you're everybody, but especially if you're sending in super chats, give us as much context as it allows you.
Yeah,
because I know they might cap you with space depending on the super chat value. Just throw another, chat or text right under it and give us as much context. Like your running back depth would certainly help here, but like Justin Jefferson through 2 games, 15 and 23, obviously dominating. They're not taking him off the field. There's no concern about the quadricep injury per the latest report that I'm seeing on him. You got upcoming matchups against Houston, Green Bay, New York, and then Detroit, Rams, Indy, Jacksonville. Like through week 10, these matchups are cake. Like this is a really nice schedule. Sam Darnold kind of looks the part. I might take this deal. I'm also down on Rashad White. He's not playing efficient football as a runner, continuation of last year. And he's going to still hold value as a receiver. But if they start cutting into his running back workload and give it to Bucky Irving, then, I would probably get out from under him now.
Yeah, interestingly enough, though, the Raiders did throw the ball a lot last week, and that kind of is the strength of their team when you look at it. I mean, you got Devontae, you got Myers, you got Bowers. So, and their running backs aren't the best on the board with Zamir not looking so great in Madison. But still, it's Gardner Minshew. Is he really, you got Bowers in the mix. You get that solidified guy like Jefferson. Again, it comes down to your RB depth, but yeah, I don't mind it either as well. All right, next question. Sup from Jay. Sup, guys. PPR. Should I start Derrick Henry or Smith at flex? I'm guessing Devonta Smith.
Emmett.
Right? Could be Emmett. Well, there's Smiths. There's a lot of Smiths out there.
So,
Ravens, Cowboys this week.
Yeah, and we obviously know you can run on my Cowboys, and they were gashed by Kamara, and even in week 1, I believe Ford scored a touchdown from Cleveland. The run defense is obviously the weak point to this football team. Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns on the year. We know he's going to get goal line opportunities, and 18 for 84 last week against Vegas, Dallas. Yeah, I'm going to go Derrick Henry here. And I like Devonta Smith, but I don't know. I feel like the safer play is Derrick Henry. And, who knows? Derrick Henry, by the way, everybody, he's been vocal this offseason. He's angry that the Dallas Cowboys didn't pick up the phone and try to sign him. That came out like, hey, why? So I think Derrick Henry is going to be pissed. And I think Derrick Henry can possibly have a 2 touchdown, 90-yard type of game this week. I think he's going to shove it down my Cowboys' throat.
Yeah, then Mike Zimmer.
I think Dallas might still win, but I think Derrick Henry is going to run all over us, and I hope he does because we deserve it.
Mike Zimmer's going to be on.
Jerry deserves it.
Mike Zimmer's going to be on the hot seat. Certainly, the
Jerry
big dog
deserves it.
The big dog can eat at any time. And I certainly could see a world where Henry goes off. But I'm going to go with Devonta here. He's like the only guy with AJ out. No Lattimore. He had a good connection last week with Hurts. So I'm going to stick Devonta with that PPR there. All right, next question from Kevin Oginski. Start Hunter Henry. What?
No, we'll do this one first. Then Daniel from our super chat gave us the running back depth, but let's do Kev first.
Okay. Start Hunter Henry or Kyle Pitts at tight end PPR. Man, Kyle Pitts. Yeah. I mean, this should be a good matchup this week against the Chiefs after we just saw Gesicki have a big game. But I don't know, man. I really don't know. So, are we going Hunter Henry tonight against the Jets over Kyle Pitts? Hunter Henry had a very nice game last week. I saw they used him on they're using him on shorter routes. He was like delayed screens. There was a delayed screen where he picked up like 25, 30 yards. Those are certainly, it's a deceptive play. So the receivers aren't great there. It's somebody for Brissett to rely on. So, I mean, the total isn't great. But I might go Hunter Henry here. I don't know. That's a tough one. What do you think?
I'm going to go Kyle Pitts. And they obviously get Kansas City. You bring up Gesicki, and it wasn't just Gesicki. All 3 of those tight ends from Cincinnati were used, and they all had solid games. I'm just pulling up the numbers now in terms of fantasy points. Now, we need fantasy points allowed. And they're getting KC. Okay, so Gesicki had
the worst.
Seven for 91.
The worst against tight ends right now.
Eric All 4 for 32. Drew Sample 3 for 28, and then week 1, likely 9 for 111. So
you know what I'm going to say right
Pitts, now. Come on down.
Yeah, I'm going to say you drafted Kyle Pitts. This has got to be the matchup. The Chiefs are the worst statistically, so you just got to use Pitts here, and this is his moment to step up. I mean, freaking Hunter Henry was like maybe the last pick of your draft, maybe whatever, towards the end of your draft. So, go with Pitts here and just hope for the best. Again, Likely went off and Gesicki went off. So, hopefully Pitts could do some things here. I think that's the move.
Yeah, I'm with you. Kyle Pitts all the way. So, let's go back to that down at the bottom. Daniel from our super chat earlier, running back depth is Pollard, Stevenson, Derrick Henry. So this is the Rashad White deal. Yeah. And then he has St. Brown, Pickens, Reeds, and he would be getting back JJ. So you can afford to lose Rashad White when you have those running backs, and then your wide receiver room would be Amon-Ra, JJ, which is significant upgrade, and Pickens, Reed. Yeah, I think you make that deal.
And if you got the guy on the hook, I would ask him maybe for like one more piece while you're at it. And then if he says no, then just say, all right, let's do the original deal. But maybe you could get like a Chase Brown or something, like something, just something to help you out a little bit, always aim a little bit higher. And then if he says
CMC
no,
on IR, tell him throw. You don't want that.
Isaac Guerrero, maybe he's got Isaac Guerrero.
That's actually a point.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right, we'll scroll back to the top. But appreciate that super chat. Again, if you guys want to get bumped to the top, you send a super chat in, like, subscribe to the show, hit the icon, hit the bell for the notifications. We're going every day. We're going live, right? And it's like, we just got so many videos coming out. It's insane. Head over to fffaceoff.com. Tons of great stuff there as well. Not just football either. We got some other sports as well. So
I know we're skipping around here. Patrick, I'm going to go. You don't have to give. I'm going to go Stevenson here. I'm not going to give much context, but I like Ram in this matchup over Dell, who he's pretty touchdown dependent until we see otherwise.
Yeah, and then you got the Vikings, so that's a tough defense. And yeah, let's see Dell get going in a better matchup here. You got to go with Stevenson. We know he's going to get the volume, 100%. All right, let's scroll down here. Tommy Walker says, fellas, I have multiple trades going on right now that I would love your opinion on. Ridley for Brian Robinson and Singletary for Shakir to replace my wide receiver depth. Have Puka, Malik Neighbors, Olave, Jameson, and Demarcus Robinson.
Ridley for B-Rob and Singletary. Right.
I think it's, so he's getting Ridley and Brian Robinson for Singletary and Shakir. Yeah, I mean, if you're getting Ridley and Brian Robinson, 100%, I'm doing that.
So we're saying Ridley for B-Rob, Singletary for Shakir. So really, it would be Ridley and Shakir, B-Rob and Singletary. B-Rob's an upgrade over Devin, not even close. And I would say Ridley and Shakir's almost a push. I think Ridley's going to have the higher weekly ceiling, a little bit more volatility, where I think Shakir has a higher floor. I would do both deals. Really, the one I want is Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
He's the one I want.
Yeah, Brian Robinson's so underrated.
Yeah.
He's such a good player. Remember, he got shot and came back like it was nothing. Yeah. So did Tank Dell, though. Andy Dalton and Adam Thielen will be a stack in my DFS Millie Maker lineups, says Hoff. So, hey, playing the contrarian view. Not a lot of people are going to have that. There you go. Tommy Walker says RBs are Bijan, Mixon, Singletary, Gus Edwards, Swift, Cam Akers as well.
Yeah, I would do that deal. Both.
All right. The Dennis family says, would you guys start Hunter Henry over Jake Ferguson because he's a toss-up? Sounds like Ferguson might come back. There was rumblings that he was going to come back last week. So, Ferguson's out there. You got to throw Ferguson out there, in my opinion.
But the thing is, he needs to make a decision tonight because Hunter Henry plays tonight.
Right.
Well, here, what I would do, I don't know what your depth looks like. And I actually had an exact same question. Somebody commented on a YouTube video. And I asked, what does your team look like? Because what I would do, I would roll the dice on Ferg. And if you have an expendable player, pick up Schoonmaker. Yeah, because Schoonmaker last week, not only is a second-round pedigree, but, first significant start in the NFL, 6 of 6 targets, 43 yards, 10.3 PPR points. He really just gave you Ferguson's stat line. That is a weekly Ferguson stat line.
Right.
So I would roll, and if you don't have an expendable bench player or deep bench, maybe you can't take the risk. But if you do, if you have somebody that's, I don't even know what a low end player is. I can't even think of one on the top of my head. But I roll the dice on Ferg, and if he doesn't go, drop your worst player and pick up Schoon.
Yeah, unless you can't really drop anybody, then maybe just go with Henry tonight.
Yeah.
But I like that strategy that Anthony just mentioned because you will probably get similar production. Not like Ferguson's the most talented guy in the world. The Dallas just loves to use their tight ends, and Dak loves his tight end.
Yeah.
Jose Avalo says at RB, should I start Brian Robinson, Josh Jacobs, or Zach Charbonnet? Need 2. Tough because Kenny Walker doesn't sound like he's going to be back once again with that abdomen injury.
So
I'm going to go Robinson and Jacobs, though.
Who does Green Bay play?
Green Bay's got the Titans.
Ooh.
37.5 total. So he's got Jacobs, but Jacobs, 32 carries for 140 yards last week.
But it only gave him 15 PPR points.
Yeah, but you got to hope he gets into the end zone. He does have a little bit of a back injury, but it seems like he's okay.
And it's B. Robert Charbonnet. If Walker's out, I think it's a smash for Zach Charbonnet. Miami has one of the worst deep. They have not stopped a running back yet. They're 27th against enemy running backs. And then you have Brian Robinson. So Robinson last week, 17, $133, much more efficient than everybody's first love, Josh Jacobs, and 14.6. So Josh Jacobs only scored not even a 10 or under a 10th of a point more.
Yeah, what did Charbonnet do last week?
17 and change.
I know he fell
and then 12 in week 1.
But he had 14 carries for 36
38 and then 5 for 31 as a receiver. But that was New England's kind of tough. Miami, James Cook, and I think James Conner had a solid way. I think it was it was Etienne in week 1, I believe, who had a solid game. I think Jacobs is a sit here for me, at least for me.
It's a good game script too for Charbonnet because you got Skylar Thompson, but again, you got Tyreek and Waddle. So I mean, you never know. I mean, they could be in that game too. I just, with Jacobs' volume, it's just so hard. I mean, it's like he's going to get so much freaking work, and I don't know. That's tough, man. But I don't mind if you want to go Charbonnet over Jacobs. I just think Jacobs and Robinson for me, but all three should have quality games. So whether it's a point or two, who knows? I think Robinson is definitely one of them, though.
Jacobs, 2.1 average yards after contact, 14th percentile, 43.8% yards after contact. That's 3rd percentile. He's not a good running back right now, efficiency-wise. He's exactly what I thought he would be. He's volume dependent, and if he doesn't score, 150 yards on 32 carries, great, but 15 PPR points. I don't know. Austin Eckler got 12 last week, and he had 6 touches. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Charbonnet has a little more upside there with Malik Willis. Brad McCoy, super chat. Appreciate that, Brad. Which running back would you pick up out of Braylon Allen, Bucky Irving, Tajay Spears, Chase Brown, have Saquon, JT, and Zamir White looking for upside? So Tajay Spears on the injury report, he says he's going to play this week. Chase Brown is playing way behind. Zach Moss hasn't really got going yet. Bucky Irving's, getting a little bit of usage there behind Rachaad White. And then we saw Braylon Allen look pretty good, scoring 2 touchdowns alongside Breece Hall. So for me, I think I'm going to go with Braylon Allen.
So looking at your team, you have Saquon, you have JT. They are your staples. They are 2, top 12 easy running backs. Zamir White, I was off on Zamir White. I think he has a solid matchup this week to get going a little bit. But you obviously need running back depth. You need, Chase Brown. He's getting out snapped, and I was in on Chase Brown, but he's getting out snapped by Moss. Spears, Tony Pollard. I told everybody this offseason, follow the money. And Tony Pollard has been the dominant running back when it comes to touches and production as well. So of these guys, Bucky Irving, he might have some standalone value, but he's certainly a very high upside handcuff with the contingency upside. And then you have Allen, who I believe might be the most valuable player here. And it's contingent value. And what that means is he is contingent on a Breece Hall injury to get maximum value. But if Breece Hall did go down, God forbid, you're looking at a potential another Jordan Mason.
Right.
So it's Bucky could have some value moving forward. But is he going to have the Braylon Allen value if anything happened? And again, you don't need these guys. You have Saquon, you have JT. I would go for the possible home run and that's Braylon Allen.
Yeah, and I think Tajay, he actually was getting a lot of work last week, did get a little bit banged up. So, maybe as far as usage, but yeah, Pollard's just looking so much better. He's getting more usage. But I agree. I think Allen is the best out of those running backs, and he has the most upside as well. So that's the guy I would take a shot on. And he may have some standalone value. We'll see how he looks tonight. Pete says Anthony struggles with his feelings on Jacobs this year is real.
Coming from Pete, who was victory lapping Josh Jacobs after week 1, and Josh Jacobs 12.4 PPR points. Trying to victory lap that.
Pete loves those victory laps. Let's not forget the Marvin Mims little drag route in preseason. I'll always hit him on that. But Pete,
through the first half of fantasy Twitter wanted to hang themselves for drafting Josh Jacobs.
But Pete, man, he's doing a hell of a job behind the scenes. We appreciate all the hard work, 100%.
I don't know if we have a fucking bet on Josh Jacobs, but I hope we do.
Yeah, well,
I hope we do.
If not, you gotta get one going for sure. All right, let's see. Let's go back all the way back to the top. Zach Linton, Uncle Piff, friend of the show in our Super Flex League, longtime listener, says, "What the hell are we doing with Terry McLaurin?" And I'll go first. Terry McLaurin obviously was a guy that I was very high on coming in. I said he'll have a career season because based off the quarterbacks he's played in the past, Taylor Heineke, Sam Howell, who am I forgetting? Another bum-ass quarterback. Oh, Carson Wentz. He's had 1,000-yard seasons, 4 years in a row. So he gets his best quarterback in Jaden Daniels, who, is a pretty good passer. But this horizontal offense with Cliff Kingsbury, a lot of the running backs are getting usage. So it's been a slow start. I think you just got to be patient right now. I think it's going to get better. Again, week 1, he just missed that 70-yard touchdown. He's had some tough matchups against some tough corners as well. So I think you just be patient. I think Terry McLaurin will be better. And again, I still think he will end up with another 1,000 yards. I think it's impossible not to see it based off him doing it with those past quarterbacks. So I'm just going to be patient.
Yeah, you can't drop him. You can't trade him. You kind of have to bench him until something happens. Now,
you have better options,
what's encouraging, as he should be dominating snaps, what's encouraging is that he was targeted 8 times. He caught 6 for 22 yards. The issue is, you say this is his best quarterback. We don't know if I hope Jaden Daniels is better passer than this, but he's not pushing the ball downfield, and that's worrisome. Like, as bad as it's been for Anthony Richardson, he's taking shots. But Willie
Fubu's is taking tons of shots too. He's hitting them though sometimes.
So you can't, you don't cut him because somebody's gonna pick him up, and if you trade him, you're gonna get like Tyler Lockett for him.
Yeah, I think they might be slowly building Daniels into this system. It's a product of Kingsbury a little bit too. He loves these quick hitters. He spread it out, but Daniels, look at him in LSU. He was hitting deep balls left and right. So I think we just be patient here. Yeah. Mad Mex, my bad, 76 says, "Sup, fellas, full PPR, choose Denard Robinson."
Demarcus.
Denard Robinson was the Michigan freaking quarterback. Denard Robinson, remember him? Brandon Cooks or Jawan Jennings. Should I flex the remaining receiver over Pitts? Thanks, fellas. How do we super chat? Bottom right, there's like a little dollar sign with a circle on it. You should see it on the bottom right of the chat. You just click that, and then you can enter whatever you want. Appreciate that, man. But what do you think here, Ant?
Demarcus, Cooks,
Jennings. He's got to pick 2, and then he wants to know if he should flex one.
I think I'm sitting Jennings. And a lot of it, like Hoff, he's our resident 49ers guy. He never had good things to say about Jennings.
I don't know why.
Taking on a prominent role.
Now he has
very good blocker.
Yeah.
And Brandon Cooks, dating back to last season, he's scoring, he's getting targets. Last week didn't really do much, but like that Dallas offense was weird. I don't know. And this is Baltimore, and you can throw on Baltimore. Like this secondary, this defense as a whole has kind of been disappointing. So I might go Cooks and Demarcus. I almost called him Denard. Demarcus Robinson, and you absolutely start Kyle Pitts this week.
Yeah, I'm going to stick Cooks. I'm going to go Jennings and Robinson with Pitts. That's going to be my 3 there. We did see Jalen Tolbert have a little bit of a step up last week too. CD does have an ankle injury though. We don't know how serious it is. So if he's out for any reason, then yeah, you're going to go Cooks, and I would probably sit. Man, I guess I like Jennings this week with no Kittle and freaking no Debo. I mean, they got to throw the ball to somebody. It's not just gonna be Ayuk every single play. So that's a tough one. Shyok says Pittman, Jennings, Johnston, or Schlock. So I don't know what he's asking there. Come back to us on that. Eduardo Andre Linares says,
I think I took his anytime goal scorer prop last night.
I have Benson, Braylon Allen, Zamir, Chandler, Shakir on my bench. Should I drop anyone for Josh Downs or Jordan Whittington?
Benson, Braylon, Zamir, Chandler, Shakir. Oof. Should I drop anyone? I like Downs more. I think Downs is going to take over the slot role, and I think in 3 wide sets, A.D. Mitchell's going to be the odd man out, with Pierce actually leading the team in snaps slightly over Pittman. And I think the missing piece possibly to kind of help Anthony Richardson out is Josh Downs in that slot role. So I think he's going to have some nice value because he needs some confidence. He needs some what do you call them? Those easy completions, the high percentage completions,
layup routes,
the layups, and they're going to go to Josh Downs. Yeah. I would drop. I don't know who you drop because these are all players that are outside of Shakir, like Benson. He's probably like how much run like with James Conner is looking like he's going to have another career year. We love Braylon Allen attached as this handcuff. Zamir, like you probably spent an 8th round pick, 7th round pick, 6th round pick, depending on your league. Chandler looks like he's getting some run, but both of these Minnesota games have been, 2 possession games as well at times. So like, is he really cutting into Aaron Jones or is it garbage time?
No, Chandler's looked good. I think he's looked good. He's played well. And Jones has a little bit of an injury too, and he does have an injury history. Yeah, Benson's not really helping you too much because Connor's just the dog there. Braylon, Zamir. I mean, yeah, I think you need to. It sounds like you need to make a move for one of these guys. It would definitely be Josh Downs. I do like Whittington's prospects, with Nakua and Cup out. But again, maybe those guys will be back eventually. Downs has more long-term value. So I think if I'm going to cut one, it's probably going to maybe be Benson, because I love Trey Benson. But if Connor gets hurt, that's a great situation. It's so tough.
The issue here, Benson last week, it was, blowout garbage time. He had 11 carries for 10 yards.
Yeah. And Amari DeMarco's playing a little bit too.
That's Josh Jacobs' efficiency right there. So,
right.
That's Rashad White efficiency.
Yeah, that's tough between all those guys. But I'm not dropping Chandler, Shakir, Zamir.
If you don't need Downs, maybe you don't because it sounds like you have Shakir on your bench, but like I just feel like, yes, Benson's probably the one you drop.
Right.
But is James Conner is usually a lock to miss 2-3 games. And the way that they're running the football, moving the football, like you could be giving away, like top end running back possession. I don't know. If you don't need it, I don't know if I do it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, unless you desperately need a receiver. But again, Anthony said you got Shakir on the bench.
Sounds like you have Shakir.
Yeah. He also asked DK or Drake London this week. DK gets the Dolphins, and the Falcons play the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Total 46.5. I think I got to go Drake London here. What do you think?
It's close because London finally got it going. It looks like this offense is getting it going. Oddly enough, I can already see this being a defensive game. And I think a lot of these Falcons games are going to be defensive because this defense is really good. And I know they have a lot of offensive firepower, but I don't know. I think a lot of these games might go the way Philly Atlanta went. But that's regardless. Like, we know that Drake London's very good, and he's going to get the workload. DK Metcalf coming off of a monster game, highly targeted, but so was JSN. Miami, they haven't really been tested, right? They shut down Jacksonville's passing attack in week 1, and they got the shit kicked out of them by Buffalo, and Josh Allen didn't have to throw the football.
They ran all over him.
They got Jalen Ramsey. Like, I don't know who this secondary is. I don't know if it's that good or they're like, last week they were game scripted out. And, Jacksonville's offense is not playing great right now anyway. So I don't know. This is tough. I might go London.
Yeah.
Close. I might go London.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean London there too as well. I'll go with the higher total, and I like the way, he ended the game with a touchdown. So a little bit of momentum there. And Kirk definitely bounced back after everybody was just giving up on him after week 1. Mad Mex 76 says CMC owner with no insurance. Who would you start for the second running back, Steele or Braylon Allen tonight? Y'all are the best fantasy football podcast. Appreciate that, brother. That's awesome to hear.
So put that back up. So
sorry.
Which would you start?
Steele or Braylon Allen? So he's got to decide tonight.
Wow. I would
Steele's gonna get more usage. Yeah,
I would just go Steele because I just don't know. Like we know he's gonna have some kind of a role,
right?
We hope. And Braylon Allen, we don't know. Like Braylon Allen might come out and score 2 touchdowns again tonight. He could also give us 2 points. Where Steele, in theory, should get something.
Yeah, I think Steele's going to be the goal line back. He'll be the short yardage guy. I think he'll be the guy around the goal line. I think he fits that role the most, more so than Pirine. Hunt's just coming back. Is he in full shape? Is he going to get thrown out there?
There was a report saying that the running back coach, he has gas left in the tank. Then why isn't he on Dallas right now?
Why'd they pick up Pirine before him?
Yeah.
Right. He did average 3 yards per carry. Also, Hunt had a sports hernia surgery in the offseason too. So we don't really know yet. So I would go Steele, even though, Allen could certainly have a nice game. I think Steele just based on the usage.
So we're at the minute 12, by the way, guys. So
when you want to cut it? Because I got some stuff.
We got to get ready for the game, bets, fantasy lineups. We got to lock our rankings for the ECR. We're going to go a couple more minutes. So, if you want to jump the line, obviously send in a super chat. Otherwise, we're going to power through as many as we can. Let's just do some rapid fire.
All right. We'll cut it off in about 5. Daniel Cardenas says trading Rachaad White. Oh, sorry.
We answered you already.
Yep.
Yes. Make the move.
No, I brought that on one by accident. Sorry. Untamed Music. Yo, last week I flexed Brian Thomas over Mandrews. I was right about that 1.5 PPR. Do I continue with the Rook or Mark this week? The reason Mark is a flex option is because I have Laporta.
I mean, that's not great with that tight end, what you spent on those tight ends, unfortunately. And I think eventually it turns around. My only issue with Brian Thomas, as productive as he's been, he's not getting the volume, right? Like Brenton Strange out-targeted him last week. Gabe Davis actually leads this team in snaps with 101. Brian Thomas third with 79 at wide receiver. But like Brian Thomas is making the most of his opportunities, 4 targets in each game. He's given us double-digit PPR points in each game. He's either given us a touchdown in week 1 or 94 yards on 2 receptions last week. This Buffalo defense, they're ranked number 3 against the pass. They've erased everybody so far. So I might roll the tight end against Dallas. Maybe you put Mark Andrews in there because I don't know what this defense is going to give us. Whereas Buffalo, look what Marvin Harrison Jr. did last week. In week 1, people were like, this guy's going to be a bust.
Yeah.
Because of Buffalo.
I agree with the Andrews too. McDermott's got something going on. He did a good job on Harrison. He did a good job on Hill and Waddle. So let's go Andrews there.
And by the way, Andrews did, have a solid high floor last week. He did have 4 catches. He did play 10 more snaps, and he did have 5 targets. So I think, it's going to start turning around for Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Trone Force says, do you guys think I could trade an injured Cooper Kupp since he wasn't placed on IR? If so, what type of value? Our boy FF Rabbit Dad, also with the face-off, says you don't want to trade Kupp now. His value is way too low. What do you think about that, Ant?
Well, put it back up. I got to read it. I'm slow.
He wants to trade Kupp. He wants to see what kind of value he can get back for him.
I forgot I saw this on Twitter, and then we have our friend Misfit back tonight with the super chat. I saw on Twitter, or was maybe it was one of my it was a league I'm in. It was a dynasty league, and after week 1, it was Kupp versus Saquon. The manager said no, and then yesterday it was Kupp for a second. So his value, at least in dynasty, significantly dropped because of this injury. Yeah, he's not on IR, but he can go on IR. He's 31, recurring ankle injuries. I don't know. I'm not going to say take what you can. Maybe try to get like T. Higgins. Maybe T. Higgins. Maybe Pickens. I don't know if they'll do it. Maybe
Pickens. If I get Pickens, I do it in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah. Pickens has had a slow start.
He's had two of the best corners he's faced, but he was eating up Patrick Surtain a little bit. There was like
I fucking love Pickens, but maybe the Pickens fantasy manager isn't as savvy as we are.
Oh yeah. I mean,
and they're not looking at the cornerback matchup. They're like, oh, this guy's a bum again.
Yeah, throw the offers out there, see what you can get. It is Cooper Kupp. And then maybe they play off that him not going on the IR. Misfit, our boy, welcome back, bro. Another $5, really appreciate it. Says, "What's up, boys? What's up? I got a trade up to 2 different people. 1, giving Waddle and Singletary for Olave. Same offer with Tank Dell."
And then he says, "Got AJ Brown, McLaurin, Neighbors at receiver, Strong at running back."
So Waddle and Singletary for Olave or Tank Dell.
I want Olave. Right? Like Dell is a 2 or 3 at his own team. And I get it. Rashid Shaheed looks outstanding right now. But the issue with Shaheed is volume. He's essentially doing what people thought like Xavier Worthy was going to do after week 1. Where like he's only had 5 to 4 targets. Rashid Shaheed's popping, he's scoring touchdowns, but the volume isn't there. And eventually, Chris Olave is going to get used, right? Like he should have been used more against Dallas. He caught 4 for 81 on 6 targets. Chris Olave is capable of getting in excess of 12 targets, 10 targets. That was a blowout. They didn't need him. Chris Olave gets Philly this week. I think as the matchups get tougher for New Orleans, they're going to have to lean on their best players. Not saying Rashid's just going to evaporate, but Chris Olave is eventually going to rise. And again, like Tank Dell, he's the 3rd, maybe 2nd option on his own team. And this is a team that also wants to run the football more than people think. I'm going to go, right? Am I crazy here saying Chris Olave is a slam dunk?
Yeah, well, the other thing too is the Saints really haven't had to throw the ball a lot because they're just running all over the place. So in games where they're down, Carr's going to have a lot more volume, and Olave's numbers are definitely going to go up. He's a good buy low right now, but Shaheed's not going away. I mean, Shaheed's going to be heavily involved still, more so than ever. Right. And they could be neck and neck all year, but Olave, I agree. Dell's another good buy low, but yeah, he's behind Nico. He's still got Diggs. They still want to run the football. Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of like Olave. He did say that he's got Strong at running back. So I don't know if his running back depth is great.
I think he means he's strong.
Oh, Strong. Okay. I thought he meant Pierre Strong. I was like, I'd read that completely wrong. Yeah. So yeah, 100%. If you're strong at running back all day long, Phil Pierre Strong. That's when you just too freaking dived into fantasy football. You freaking referenced Pierre Strong. All right, Philly's finest, $4.99. I appreciate that. He says, He says, why is that not popping up?
I'm doing it. You're doing it.
Got offered Olave and DJ Moore for Godwin and Flowers, full PPR. Got St. Brown and Wilson as my starters. So they'll be my flex bench depth. So Olave and DJ Moore for Godwin and Flowers. I like the Godwin and Flowers side.
Yeah. Yes, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson. And you're getting Godwin, who's one of my
No,
guys.
he got offered
Oh.
Olave and DJ Moore for Godwin and Flowers, so I would stay put.
Ooh.
I don't know. That is kind of close because Moore should get better, but Caleb's going to struggle. That the schedule does get easier, but then it gets hard again. You got to play the Vikings twice.
What this essentially is, this would be buying low on DJ Moore and Chris Olave because Olave second round ish pick, DJ Moore third, fourth round pick, depending on your league. And then like Godwin, I hate moving Chris Godwin. I wish you could somehow finagle this deal where maybe like, can you keep Chris Godwin somehow? I don't know if they'll do that because Godwin's playing out of his mind. I think that's going to continue. I don't know. This is really close, and I can understand why you're asking the question with the super chat. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Steve. What do you think? I don't think Godwin's going away, but this is also like you're essentially moving like, number 2 or 1B, and then Flowers is the one on a lower volume passing team. Then like you're literally getting 2 wide receiver ones, where last year DJ Moore was a top 12 receiver in points per game. Chris Olave was a top 18 receiver in points per game. So this is such a terrific buy low opportunity. I don't know if you can let it go. I think you have to do it.
Yeah, but you're going from Baker and Lamar to Caleb and Derek Carr. Now Derek Carr's look good, but I think
Olave with Derek Carr in an inferior system was still a top 20 receiver, top 18.
More presence from Shaheed, and also with Clint Kubiak, they're more of a capable running team as well. So, and you still got Taysom Hill in the mix. So, Godwin in the slot this year has been a smash. We've seen Godwin been money in the past. I think you got to stick with Godwin. And, Zay Flowers might be a little consistent, but he's still the best receiver there. Had a nice game last week. So I like that side a little bit better. Again, I love DJ Moore. I loved him last year. Didn't like it as much as this year. I think the matchups get harder after this little easier, let up. But you still got a Dunze. You got Keenan Allen coming back as well. So I just think it's Godwin and Flowers for me overall here. It's close. I don't think it's a must deal again. Like a lot of these trades are.
What I would do, I think I'd make the deal, but I would fight to try to keep Chris Godwin somehow. Like, can you keep Godwin and flip and flip Flowers and one of these other receivers? But is there any way you can keep Chris Godwin? Like, that's my holdup. I might even do this deal if it was Evans and Flowers. That's how high I am on Chris Godwin this year.
Yeah.
Because Godwin, the power slot role, the familiarity, like Baker played in this Liam Cohen offense with Liam Cohen in his small stint with McVay and the Rams. Like that power slot role in this system is legitimately Cooper Kupp. And that's what we're seeing right now in 2 games with Godwin. So I don't think that's going away. But like, if you could somehow do this, keeping Godwin, I would do it.
I think we got to throw the ADP out the window here a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying, man.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it, man. Misfits says another $2, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, boys. Yeah. LOL. RBs are Taylor, Dobbins, and DeMonte. Yeah, so you're good there, 100%. But this was great, man. Thanks to everybody for the super chats. Thanks for everybody throwing in the questions. Again, you could hit us up on Twitter. You could, put it in the comment section on YouTube. One of us will answer it if we didn't get to you tonight. But we'll be back soon, right, Ant?
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. I think Steve is off. I will be on with maybe Hoff and Pete. I'm not sure, but I might be around tonight, but I'm doing an NFL picks tonight show late. So some NFL picks for you guys as well. But until next time, Steve will be on later on tonight, post game and picks for this week. We'll be back live tomorrow. But until then, good luck. If you have anything going Thursday night football, fantasy, sports bets, if you're a Jets fan, if you're a Patriots fan. But until next time, for Steve, myself, the rest of the guys at the Face Off Sports Network, we'll see you later.